Would you guys like to venture a guess as to how many times I've sat down to record this talking head part? If you said 1, you're wrong. If you said 5, you're wrong. If you said 10, you're wrong. And if you said 14, then you're right. And I don't even know if this will be the last time that I do it, because when I start, I have coherent thoughts, I am not stuttering, and I'm making complete sense. And then by the time I'm halfway through, I turn into a blubbering idiot. So yeah, it's been quite a long time since I made a video. I believe it was 8 months ago that I made a video going out to Washington. And now I live in Tacoma, Washington. Me and my wife moved out here about 2 months ago, and we absolutely love it. It's the first big move that I've ever made in my life. And we always wanted to move out west somewhere. And initially it was going to be Colorado, but then that area got a little bit too busy, a little too populated. And then we visited Tacoma, Washington a couple times to visit our friends Bray and Alicia, and we absolutely loved it. We've been out here 2 months. The first month was just trying to get settled, buying a lot of furniture. Facebook Marketplace was our best friend. And then I feel like the last month has been really settling in, getting used to the day-to-day stuff, going out on more hikes, exploring the area more. And for me, if anybody has ever watched this channel, you know that I'm just very in my head when it comes to things. And for me, on one end of the spectrum, it's been very exciting. I'm incredibly excited to explore and see what's out there. And then on the other end of the spectrum, it's very overwhelming and intimidating photographically, because there's just so much to explore. So right now I'm just trying to focus on doing exactly that, getting out on hikes, and I haven't really gone to many other cities around Tacoma, but that is definitely on my list. So I feel like the next couple of months is going to be more of that, going to smaller cities, trying to discover certain stories, and then narrowing down a subject matter from there. I have been making some work in black and white. I have somewhat of an idea for a project, but it's in the very beginning stages of everything. And I also don't want to put too much pressure on a specific project and sticking to that, because I want to be very open to exploring and branching out to things that I discover. I am debating if I want to continue making work for Articles of Virtue. I think there's room for that project to expand outside of the Midwest. So that's something that I have been thinking about. And I recently did just purchase some color film, which in the next video I'll be shooting. And that will be the first time that I shot color film besides for assignments. I think it's been about a year since I've made any work on color film. So super excited about that. I bought some Ectacolor 160, which is basically Portra 160 rebranded. I have been hard at work sequencing and editing the St. Louis work, Westward, Dear God. That is all very new to me, so it's taken me quite a lot of time. I have around 10 people that I've been showing the work to and just trying to keep it in a close circle with people that I trust and people that are very smart and much smarter than me when it comes to editing and sequencing. But people have very busy schedules, so it's extremely hard to get people together. A lot of these people live in different parts of the country, so I'm doing most of the chats and talks over Zoom or FaceTime. And I'm just trying to do everything myself at this moment when it comes to actually physically sequencing and editing it. And I haven't really gotten to the point of talking to publishers or sending out emails and trying to collaborate with people. But I think that is the next thing that I'm going to do. I think it's very close to being a book dummy and making like a maquette of some sort to really see it in physical form. I'm super excited about that work, and I feel a little bad about not showing that process, but I really just deep down wanted to keep this St. Louis work to myself, and I wanted it to be seen the first time in a physical publication. And I think that was extremely important to me, and I didn't want to water it down by showing everything in a YouTube video first. And then by the time that anyone wants to buy the book, they've already seen every photo that I've made for it. And that's kind of how I feel about Articles of Virtue. So that's why I'm thinking about this idea of continuing that series and making some work in Washington and in the West and combining that with the work that I've already made in the Midwest. The work that I showed earlier in this video was work that was just one-off, standalone travel type photography that I took in Costa Rica with my in-laws. Costa Rica, one half of the trip was it rained the whole time, and then the other half was it was 110 degrees. So pretty huge highs and lows, but the first half of the trip, I took a lot more photos because it was a little bit rainy, foggy, and it just added to the beautiful environment that we were already in. I do have some of those prints on my website if you want to buy them, brianburks.com/prints. I'm trying to be better about putting standalone photography prints on there that are relatively affordable, and they are not part of any bigger project. And they're just something that might exist in a YouTube video or something that was just a one-off trip like that to a beautiful place. Speaking of beautiful black and white work, I did get sent a copy of a book called Vassal of the Sky by Joshua Chen Cavalier. And I first met Joshua at the Chico Review in 2024. And I don't think he brought this work to Chico to show, but I was always pretty interested in the work that he was making because it was very poetic and soulful black and white, which I'm always a sucker for. And when he released this book with Holler Books, it just struck me as a very personal, very touching object because everything was handmade. There's just little touches that are inside of it that really add to the physical nature of the work. And that's something that I'm looking to do, maybe not with my St. Louis project, but smaller projects that I think deserve a physical publication or a physical work of some sort that can exist outside of Instagram and it can exist outside of YouTube. I think that's super important for every photographer to do, whether it's you're printing your work or you're making small zines or you're making newsprint publications, super cheap stuff like that where you can actually hold it and physically look at it. I think a lot of work gets lost on social media, Instagram and YouTube, and it might cost a little bit of money, but I think it's always worth it in the end to make a physical publication. And Josh did this really well, and if it's still available, I would highly recommend it. A super big update that I wanted to share with you guys, and I know what you're thinking, did Hasselblad finally reach out to you about using one of their medium format digital cameras? No, they did not, but I'm still waiting for that email. I bought a changing tent. And I know what you're thinking, Brian, how did you go 6 years shooting large format film without a changing tent? And I don't know. I had a lot of people slide into my DMs when I shared that on Instagram, and they were calling me a psycho for doing that for 6 years, but that's kind of just the way that I worked. I don't really like buying things, and when I saw this changing tent on eBay, it was like 120 bucks. I decided it was finally time, and wow, it really makes a difference. So not only will I be loading up film while I travel, I'll be doing it in motels, I'll be doing it at bars, I'll be doing it in my car, and I'll also be changing film. The last thing I want to talk about is just YouTube in general. I kind of want to apologize for being so silent when it comes to making videos and sharing my process because I know that people enjoy that, and I do enjoy it myself, but I've always been a person of quality over quantity, and I don't want to just keep making videos for the sake of making videos. And as much as I want to make money from YouTube and I want sponsors and I want Hasselblad to send me cameras, like, I'm sorry, but I'm just not going to put a whole bunch of effort and time into something that I don't get a lot out of. And whenever I do decide to make a video, it's to say something or share something that I feel really strongly about. So I'm not going to make any promises in the future about when I'm going to make videos, but when a video does come out from me, it's to share something that I think is important. And I think that's the biggest thing out of it all when it comes to my channel. And I still enjoy watching other people's videos, and that's just a me thing, because whenever I watch a video from someone that I enjoy, in my head, I'm thinking I want them to make more videos. I want to see what they're up to. I want to see work that they're making. But when it comes to myself, I just can't do that because I just feel like a lot of work needs to be seen outside of YouTube. And like I said, the publications that I want to make and the important work that I want to show, I want it to be seen in book form first. I don't want it to be watered down, like I said. And I feel like YouTube and social media and Instagram does that a lot with work that people make these days. Prints are on my website. Patreon is in the description. It helps out a ton with support for the channel, to not have to worry about sponsors, to not have to worry about endless ads throughout a video. The support means the world, and I appreciate it more than you know. I've been posting more on Patreon, and I'm also trying to offer some critiques on work if you want to send me your work through Patreon. I feel like I'm finally in a position where I can do that, and I feel like I know enough now where I can provide valuable feedback to people who are looking to maybe push their photography and push themselves while they're doing it. So, like I said, next video, hopefully shooting some color film. I look forward to seeing everybody back there, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.